Joining me right now, Kathryn Rooney Vera. Great to see you guys this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Well, Kathryn, we've been waiting for this recession. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that slowing trade in Asia is bringing some relief to U.S. consumers, but easing prices will not signal a break in inflation. Asian markets this morning are fractionally moving, although the Shanghai Composite was down. What about the trade issues and whether or not we see a global slowdown, Kathryn? How do you see things?
Well, China serves as a good indicator of how much global trade has slowed down. The reopening of China has really paled in comparison to what consensus had anticipated or hoped for. Of course, I refer to the reopening after the COVID restrictions were relieved. China has actually seen PMIs and manufacturing data, including import and export data, slowing. So China will not be adding significantly to global growth. And my suspicion is that stimulus going forward out of the Chinese authorities will not be gangbusters as we've seen in the past. The point here, Maria, is that economic activity is slowing. We do see it across the board. Inflation remains generally high, and that scenario is called stagflation. So I think the central banks, the ECB, is showing its hawkishness, have to decide as to whether or not they're committed to a 2% inflation target or to maintenance of economic growth. And I think here in the U.S., I agree with your other guest that the markets are perhaps overestimating the ability and the willingness of the Fed to avoid recession. The Fed does have credibility issues, and that 2% target is very likely to be hit before the Fed either cuts rates or, God forbid, changes the 2% target, which many are calling for.
Yeah. So this morning we see a market that is fractionally moving. Kathryn, what do you want to do going into the second half of the year?
Well, I think you can play the momentum trade, which essentially says that until we have some more clarity on the Fed holding hikes for an extended period of time, you can play the catch-up trade, which is, as your previous guest mentioned, the narrow breadth of this rally year to date has been exclusively 7 or 8 stocks in the AI and technology space. The catch-up trade being that the NASDAQ and the small caps, which have diverged immensely, will come down. That means unwind the tech trade and look at small caps and the laggards year to date. That is exclusively a tactical trade. I think going into 2024 with a Fed that is going to not only hike once or twice more, but not cut when unemployment jumps, because we've seen that error played out in the past, then I think you need to reallocate capital away from equities into fixed income. I'm starting to like the steepener trade, treasuries, 2s, 10s.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll watch that. By the way, you mentioned the big tech momentum. This morning, UBS is downgrading Alphabet parent Google, partly because of the price. All these stocks are up in the double digits or triple digits if you're talking about Meta. Thank you so much. Great word on Wall Street. Ryan Belanger and Kathryn Rooney Vera. We will see you soon. Thank you so much.